Hi, Hey everyone, sorry this took so long to release. I legit have no excuse, I've just been too lazy to work on this, I guess, but I finally decided to get around to it. As usual, I'm gonna mention a few things before I actually get into the juicy meat of this episode. First of all, VETEX, good job. You actually fixed boxing. I was not expecting that. Boxing is now actually usable in a real fight, and I'm fully capable of winning a lot of fights now. He decided to buff boxing by adding more speed to every punch, and holy tards is this a buff. For one, I can actually chase after people who spam the high jump and wail on them in midair, doing like 800 plus damage on them, even, to the least laggy of players. Plus, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but if you use the haymaker punch, it now copies over the damage of it into your next punch, to basically double the damage you did with your haymaker, assuming you land the second punch. Am I complaining? No. Please keep it this way. I love it. Second thing is just a few more complaints as usual. First complaint is that I think VETEX basically just died over the summer because it stayed at a steady 35 out of 51 on the Trello for about 2 months now. I guess VETEX will have to rename the huge summer update into the huge winter update at this rate, especially since like 6 of the things it's updating are XL. Second complaint is that the Magic Fist needs a nerf. And don't even try to argue with me about how, it scales with magic. It's too much. That's too much. Anyone can agree 600 damage is way too much. Third complaint is that the new leveling system, as I've slowly realized, just doesn't work. You can max both magic and strength now, meaning you can be overpowered in both stats. If it was me, I would implement stat deterioration. That way you would have to actively train in both stats if you want to keep both stats up. It would also keep it fair for all strength users like me, since I see people all the time who use magic but have max strength anyway. Okay, third thing I want to talk about, not necessarily a complaint, is that everyone has instantly made the assumption that enchantments are being removed because a single admin told a single community member, probably just to shut him up, that enchantments are being removed. I mean, that's at least what my friend told me. Don't blame me for having false evidence on this one. Legit, everyone calm down. I really don't think enchantments are being removed, especially since VETEX hasn't said anything about it or changed anything about enchantments on the update list. Until VETEX says something himself, it's safe to assume enchantments are staying in the game. Well, then again, he hasn't really said anything or about anything in 2 months, so... Alright, on to the actual meat of this episode, my ideas for Arcane. I briefly covered this in my second video, but only as a side note for the rant section of that video. This isn't as much as a rant, so haha, I guess I just lied to you all since I haven't done a speck of ranting so far. Don't flag me, please. I don't want my video to get removed. I guess we'll start with the game itself. Okay, so the first thing that I've always wondered is why VETEX decided to go on the path he did when it came to what Arcane would be. Most people would say it's a magic game, but is it really a magic game? Yeah, it has magic in it, and magic is a huge central aspect of the game, but is it a magic game? No, it's not. It's not a magic game because VETEX has attempted to do something with the game that I honestly never wanted for the game when he announced it, RPG expansion. What I mean by this is that he's added fighting styles, fishing, unnecessary features like sky skates, weapons, enchantments, capturing islands, basically any really useless feature you can think of. On top of this, he not only added fighting styles, weapons, etc., he's made an attempt to balance them with everything else in the game so that they're actually usable in combat and can be used to win on top of that. What I mean by that is that Arcane isn't a magic game, it's a convoluted, very confusing RPG that has no set path or plan for the future. Let's use Bloodborne for example. While it's not an RPG or a magic game, it did have a central aspect of the game that everyone realized when they joined. I am a hunter, I hunt beasts, and I use guns and awesome trick weapons to accomplish this. Not sponsored, Bloodborne is awesome, it came out like 2 years ago anyways, so... VETEX also starts off the game with a central tone. I am a wizard, I use magic to fight other wizards and become stronger. Now, the difference between Bloodborne and Arcane is that Bloodborne chose a central idea and stuck with it to the end, making a consistently fun experience that constantly made you feel like a boss of your own game. Arcane is way different in this aspect. Arcane started off giving you magic, and then introduced the magic dagger less than 5 minutes in. Then it introduced the rowboat and armor sets and basic weapons and treasure and fishing and all this stuff to make it not really a magic game, but more of an adventure-based magic slash fighting style slash sailing clan-based war game. I mean, sure, it sounds fun like that, but it isn't. It's not fun. It lost all its focus. And when I say that, I mean this. A magic game has magic, but not only does it have magic, it expands on the magic inside the game, adding more magic or adding on to the magic in the game. Notice how VETEX literally just dumped the magic into the game as it was, then left it alone forever. Yeah, he balanced it a bit more and added particle effects and different status effects and modifications, but that's not expanding. Imagine if Overwatch only had like 7 characters and they had a basic setup they followed, none of which were especially unique, and they all had broken hitboxes. That's what the magic in Arcane is like. However, there is a way to improve every single aspect I just mentioned. Get rid of everything and focus on magic. Did you guys notice that you probably first joined the game thinking, wow, this game looks like a fun magic game, only to realize that it just has 7 usable magics, each with like 6 attacks or abilities? I didn't. I joined the game wanting to expand my magic into something destructive and amazing and unique. However, you can't do that in Arcane as it is. However, it is entirely possible. I thought of this idea a long time ago, not just for Arcane, but for any game in general. It allows for replayability, uniqueness, and it allows players to find their playstyle in an easy way. I call it the growth feature. Anyway, the growth feature works like this. If any of you guys have played Super Smash Bros. 4, you might recognize it as I talk about it. Similar to the custom character feature in Smash, you might start the game with a single attack. As you level up, you acquire growth points or GP. From there, you can choose to increase the power of a certain attack or invest points into your next ability. The next ability you unlock will require more GP, so you have to think about what kind of playstyle you're looking for in the future. Now here's where the similarity to Smash actually comes in. After you get an ability to 10 GP, you can choose to alter the ability somehow into a unique attack. For example, let's say you chose Fire Magic at the start of your journey. If you wish to alter Fireball, your first attack, you'd need to invest 10 GP into it. From there, you can alter your Fireball into a split Fireball that fires 3 smaller fireballs over a horizontal area, a Searing Fireball that travels through multiple enemies and focuses purely on burn damage over time, or a Flamethrower that shoots a short continuous stream of fire instead of a ball, but of course that doesn't do as much damage. You can also choose to simply keep it as it is and just increase the damage of Fireball, making it a big Fireball. Then as you apply 10 more GP into whatever Fireball alteration you use, you can alter it once more. We'll use the Flamethrower alteration as an example. You could alter the Flamethrower into a Fire Beam, which does more damage than the Flamethrower but can be easily dodged if you know the timing. A Flame Burst that bursts out fire over a wide range, inflicting a lot of burn damage. Or a Flame Cannon, which acts like a flamethrower except pushes back whoever it comes in contact with away from you at the cost of less damage. A system like this certainly isn't original or amazing, but something like this can make a front-page game in my opinion. You're welcome, future developers of Roblox, as long as it's done right and the right mind is behind it. I guess I technically covered both the game itself and the magic there, but I know VETEX isn't going to do something like this, so I'll just move on to the magic the game currently has. The magic in Arcane is bland as it currently is. I'm sure I don't need to tell you guys like that for like the 4th time. However, this is such an easy fix. Special properties. Sure, the magic in Arcane is unique. Light is a beam while fire is a ball that does damage over time. But there's so much potential for improvement here. For example, maybe light could be incredibly powerful and have a huge explosion at the end of the beam, but it takes much longer to fire and has a greater magic cost. Maybe lightning could stun instead of damage over time to make fire's damage over time more unique. Maybe darkness could have a unique property that makes it more powerful during the night and less powerful during the day, vice versa for light. Stuff like this is just minor changes, but it could really provide uniqueness to the game without changing the entire formula of everything. Now, I'd talk about my ideas for mutations, but VETEX has deleted the mutation chart completely, so there goes my ideas for this video in the first place. I guess I'll just say this. VETEX, release mutations sooner than later, you lazy poop nugget. On to weapons, I guess. To be honest, I completely wish weapons were never even in the game. I'll just say that. That's my ideas for weapons. Screw weapons. Magic ones too, they're all dumb. On to fighting styles! There's so much to cover here and I'm slowly burning myself out, but I'll grip onto the physical embodiment of Existential is a hard word. There's so much to cover here and I'm slowly burning myself out, but I'll grip onto the physical embodiment of an existential meltdown that is VETEX to keep me going, I guess. Fighting styles just aren't balanced at all. I'm sure that's evident with Radius stomp able to insta-kill a level 200 player, but since I already went over my ideas for the third attacks in the second video, I'll just go over basic balancing here. I'll start with the lowest level fighting styles and then work my way up, I guess. Now, the basic melee. Should it be buffed or anything? I wouldn't really say so, but it does need something. Maybe just like a powerful straight punch. I don't know. Normal melee in itself is just boring as it is, and it can't really be used in combat unless you literally have a death wish, but I still think it should be used in combat somehow. I mean, it's still a viable fighting style, right? Right, VTEX? Next is boxing. Boxing by itself, at least right now, is pretty good. I already said that at the start of the video. Unless you only train strength, you probably won't win that many fights as a boxer, but that's not a bad thing. I personally am a boxer, and I think it's just fine. Although I would like something like a bruise status effect that turns the affected body part dark blue or purple, and if that body part is hit again, the attack will do, I don't know, maybe like twice damage or something. I don't know, probably not that much, but that would help replace the thing where limbs fly off sometimes just from boxing, or any blunt weapon in fact. I mean, there's another idea. Blunt weapons or attacks bruise, and sharp weapons sever limbs and cause bleed. That makes sense, right? Next is Radius. Radius right now just causes a tiny stun with each hit, which doesn't make sense at all. I'd prefer it if Radius was primarily knockback instead of damage. That way it'd be more tactical than abusive, since you could get some distance between you and your opponent easily with Radius, and you could fire a quick few magic attacks or whatever. So yeah, it would actually be useful in combat for magic users too, and not so abusive. Swaying Fist is next. Oh, swaying. The joke of Arcane Adventures. First of all, here's an idea for Swaying Fist. Fix it, yeah! Second idea, I think a good idea for swaying is that it actually be completely random. It could hit based on a certain percentage chance and can sever limbs or bruise, severing chance having a smaller chance than bruise, of course. It would do much more damage and also sometimes allow you to dodge attacks automatically, since you'd have to be lucky to win fight with it anyways. Next is Impact. Personally, I think it'd be better if Impact only charged if it came in contact with an enemy, like while you were hitting them. That way you can't just charge it up before a big fight and nuke the other enemy and win instantly. If it only charged when it hits enemies, it'd definitely be more useful in combat, and it would support just charging in and going crazy on them and then finishing them off with an impact, you know? That would actually be pretty good. It would have to charge much faster, but also deteriorate just as fast so it's not abusable. It would also do 3 times less damage than it currently does, the impact punch. All I have to say about Magic Fist is that it needs a damage nerf, but otherwise it's pretty much okay as it is, I think. That's the whole video. I'm sure I missed a ton of other things that I wanted to talk about, but I'll spare you guys from that. Thanks for watching this video to the end. I also have a last minute announcement. Unless this video gets to at least like 500 views, I won't continue the little video series I've started here. For one, I knew from the beginning how dumb it was that I made a video on just a random guy from Roblox. And on top of that, I put a lot of effort into these videos, and my last video only got maybe 300 views. I just think if no one's listening to my opinion, then what's the point of presenting it, you know? Anyway, thanks for watching.